So I want to start to show you how to use two decks to give a really detailed, helpful and accurate tarot reading. Now the first thing you need to know about tarot is just predicting the future is not that helpful. I mean, arguably, what's the point? There's little point unless you're going to include in your tarot reading some advice to better change your future, because my experience after innumerable tarot readings, both for myself and other people, and in certain cases for clients for over 5 years now, is the future is not fixed. Every single moment we are consciously making choices, we are changing our future. So here's the 3-card spread for me. Nice and simple. Situation, the sun. Okay, life's coming together. I definitely feel that I'm living the life that I was always meant to live. I'm happy with my spiritual path, my family. There's a lot. I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time. Advice, the Lovers. Now, there's lots of advice about this on my website. I've got blogs and such like. The key message for me about the Lovers is attitude. And that's absolutely right. I tend to be a little bit anxious. I tend to expect things not to work. And I tend to overwork and get the balance wrong. My mindset isn't quite right. I get that. Likely outcome, Prince of Pentacles, nice card about being well grounded, about the business growing steadily, about just life moving along in a gentle, solid way. I always believe foundations are so important. So I'm really happy with that. And as I'm reading it, what's happening is I'm realizing that my mindset's really important. I'm checking in and I'm thinking, yeah, actually, my attitude isn't always that good. Sometimes I allow the anxiety to come in. So what I've done is I've taken my second deck and I've shuffled this. Okay, I read this first before I set up the tape, and I shuffled the deck after acknowledging this, because by reading this simple 3-card deck, I've changed my future. I've become very aware that my mindset is quite an issue. So I've changed my future already. So let's see what my second deck has to say about it. Now that is unusual. Excuse if you can hear the motorbikes going past. Must be something going on. It is unusual, but it happens more than you can imagine, because these are the same cards. When this happens with a 2-deck reading and the same card in a small reading comes up in the same place, it's showing you that it's a significant reading. I've said that and I'm not joking. This is an authentic reading. My attitude is all. I need a Queen of Wands attitude. I need to start creating living this life. You know, I've worked hard with my marriage, my children, my business. It's time I started enjoying it a bit more. It's time I started to step into that power. I've got that. And where will it take me? Well, there's an interesting card. I quite like the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords is something I probably need to do a bit more. What I like to say about this card is every sword is words. And this guy, there's been a battle. These people have attacked him with their words, and he has won. He's because he hasn't been hurt by what they have to say. And I don't really like getting controversial with the tarot. I tend to duck down if people are arguing about the tarot. I don't want to get involved. I have some very clear opinions on tarot. And arguably, I should probably be being not controversial, but sharing more of what I've experienced to be true that perhaps isn't in the main understanding of tarot. So I get that. Maybe I do need to sort of step away from the safe topics a little bit. So a very similar feel, and this I think will enhance this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a next layer down. This is situation, advice, outcome. Now I'm going to do a future prediction. So future situation, 3 of Wands, a very positive card and a very similar feel actually to the Sun, of self-confidence, inner confidence, just standing in my own power. So now an advice card for the future. the Empress. Funnily enough, I've done some baking today for the first time in quite a long time. I know when I'm stressed that the baking and the gardening and those nurturing things that I love doing with the family get pushed to one side. And so to me, the advice is definitely to sort of step back into being the earth mother and to enjoy that abundance. And then the outcome is the Chariot, which is great. When I've just said that the real issue is about attitude, then Chariot is the card of amazing attitude. It's the card of moving on despite your fears and despite your hopes, just to keep on feeling confident, believing in myself and moving forward. And so you can see that by reading with 2 decks, a very simple 3-card spread. Now I do think, I would say that my favourite spread is a 9-card spread, because we have here 3 separate readings and 3 separate readings and then the whole reading. So, you know, if you wanted to really have this set up as an ongoing spread, you could take a long time really understanding this. I would say the most important mini spread is this one, because this is situation now, now I've read this, situation to come, advice, outcome. Now I'm quite happy with those outcomes. I can see how, I'm also thinking with the 5 of Swords as well, it may be a time to, you know, let parts of my business go. Maybe I overdo the workshops, the local workshops. Do enjoy them, but they're quite exhausting and they do impact on my family quite a lot. So if you don't like the outcome, look to your advice card. Remember, your future is always in your hands. And with the advice cards, if you've got a negative card here, let's just say it's the Tower, fair enough. Let go of what's holding you back. If it's the 9 of Swords, stop worrying. Whatever cards are here, you need to be looking for the positive advice. So, I love reading with 2 decks. It's something I regularly do with clients. I only read with decks professionally that I know very, very well. I have plenty of decks that I might use for myself or I might just enjoy playing around with, but these 2 are the decks that I like to work with. And I think that the readings, I find the Druidcraft is slightly more gentle. It's a great interpersonal counselling tool. And so I may well start, if I've got a client that's a little bit anxious, I may well start with this because I find the pictures are very engaging. And then I may use my trusty rider-waite deck just to go one step further. So I will be sharing more in this series about how you can use 2 decks to really deepen your tarot practice. If you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel. It makes a big difference to the number of people that then are shown my videos, and leave a comment as well, because it all helps get my videos shown on YouTube.